There is this saying in the world, choose your battles wisely. Well, I've spoken about that before. Now, in this video, I want to address another part of it. When a battle's going on, there's always an objective, or else there wouldn't be a battle. A battle means that there's an objective that's under threat. So first you need to ask yourself, what is the objective? Okay? For example, let's say that there is a war between two city-states. For example, between Sparta and Athens. I'm just giving those two as example. Why is Sparta fighting Athens? Because there is a trade route that they want to keep to themselves. That's the objective. So the objective is securing economic power. Now, if the objective is to secure economic power, then ask yourself, is it wise for Sparta to attack Athens, who also has a maritime fleet? Because if Athens decides to retaliate and they use their navy, then Sparta can be surrounded at sea by many enemies, and then it would be almost impossible for Sparta to continue trading with other groups. So, in this case, Sparta can attack Athens and exhaust Athens, but even if Sparta would win the fight, now Sparta will have to deal with angry neighbors who experienced the attack on Athens, because those angry neighbors, those other city-states, going to think, Sparta attacked Athens. They didn't even care that Athens has a navy to retaliate, because Sparta needs to trade also overseas. But they didn't even consider their own exports, because if they would have done it, they likely wouldn't attack Athens. So if the Spartans are so relentless, they're willing to endanger their long-term economic stability to achieve their objective, then what would Sparta do to us? So Sparta now wins that battle. Okay, Athens concedes. Now you have other Greek city-states around thinking, Sparta's quite relentless, you need to watch out with Sparta. So the other city-states around will pretend to be on good terms with Sparta, because they think if Sparta gets angered, they're relentless, they will attack, so people don't want to anger Sparta. But that relationship is based on fear and paranoia. The only reason they want to deal with Sparta is to prevent Sparta from attacking them. So if in the future Sparta is at a weak point, they will retaliate. Okay? Athens may have moved on already, but those around keep remembering, these people are relentless. So if the Spartans would look at the bigger picture and realize, you know what? There are many city-states around us, not just Athens over there. So if we are so relentless against Athens, it's going to have an effect on how people will view us. And if they're going to view us in a negative daylight after we win against Athens, you know what? Maybe it's better not even start a battle with Athens. Maybe we just have to find a way to secure our economic interests in another way. Because here's the thing with the battle. Once the objective is secured, you have to deal with the consequences. Just think about the example I gave about Sparta, wanting to secure a trade route on land. And they do this by attacking Athens. Because of that, the Athenians don't travel on that road anymore. It's all for Sparta. Now, the Spartans have to secure that road, and they will likely face anxious reactions from other city-states. So, it's really worth it to fight that battle. Because even if the objective is secured, what will be the consequences after securing the objective? And here's where a lot of people go wrong. Just because you are right, and just because you've won, doesn't mean it's worth it. For example, you could have a parent who demands to be validated by their children, saying, I'm your parent, I did a lot for you, so I demand a special treatment. I want to be respected as Saint the world, but the parent's out of line. So even when everyone sees the parents out of line, people tell the parents, you need to apologize to your child because the way you screamed at him or her, that's not the way you treat people. But the parent has pride. I don't apologize. I pay rent over here, this and that. I do all this other good stuff for them, so just have to forget about it. They're too sensitive. So the parent begins to make excuses for their behavior. Okay, the parent can get away with it because the children cannot argue back because the children can't pay their own rent and they can't do any of that. Once those children are older, they are likely to disassociate from that parent because that parent has a narcissistic attitude that they never want to admit they're wrong. And they don't care how bad you feel after how they treated you, you just have to take it. And not only the children, other people are going to notice this about them too. So they will lose friends also. So not only their children will disassociate from them, also friends and other associates, and they'll end up alone or they will end up with loneliness. And then when they're in the 60s or 70s, they don't think, why did everyone leave me? Now they're going to feel like they're the victim. Hold on. They had an objective to be validated. And they didn't care at what cost it would be. So they got the validation because the children could not fight back. But once the children became older and they were adults, they realized, the way mom and dad were treating me, that's not correct. And other people are also saying, sir, you keep complaining that your children won't visit you and you can't see your grandchildren, but look at this. The way you treat your children while growing up, you don't treat people that way. Yeah, but hey, when I was younger, I showed respect to other people. So I demanded from them too. But hold on a minute, sir. Hold on a minute, sir. So just because you put up with violations done to you by your parents and people that were older than you, doesn't mean now that the young generation is owed to take your violence on them too? Come on now. Often people in the world fight battles without considering whether the battles will be worth it. Now, you as a believer, you walk by faith, you have no negative intentions. You have good objectives, righteous objectives, but even then, consider the consequences of winning. If the consequences of winning are not worth it, then don't fight the battle. The same way, if there's a military with just 10,000 soldiers, and there's another military over there with 30,000 soldiers, now maybe if the soldiers of this camp with 10,000 are more armed, they can defeat 30,000. But if you have a military with 100,000 soldiers, and you have a camp with only 5,000 soldiers, then likely anyone would say, don't start the fight. You only have 5,000 men. They have 20 more men than you. They have 100,000. Of course, you're not going to win that, no matter how you look at it. Or if someone wants to build a tower, just like Christ said, you want to build a military tower, you have to be able to finance it. Just not to be stuck while building it and embarrass yourself. Now, Christ used the example of building a military tower and fighting war to see whether you can defeat the opponent. What Christ was saying is that you should consider the consequences of winning. Even if you're able to win, check whether the winning, the victory, is worth it. You have to weigh the potential costs against the potential benefits. For example, if someone is looking at you very angry in the bus, you can confront saying, sir, why are you staring at me like that? Now, when you do that, the individual will feel humiliated, and that will likely lead to the individual lashing out against you. And if the individual has a weapon, they may use it on you. Or even if you don't have a weapon, it can escalate and cause a whole scene on the bus, traumatizing everyone over there. Or they may say, oh, sir, sorry, I was just daydreaming. Now, the risk of having a physical altercation, a physical escalation on the bus, does not weigh against just ignoring it and remaining at peace. So in this case, the potential risks are far worse. The potential risks are much heavier than the benefits of ignoring it. So in this case, you ignore it. Look, life is not a mathematical calculation. I'm not saying that you always should calculate potential benefits versus potential losses, but you should consider them. And too often I see people engaging in battles that they shouldn't be involved in, because them winning those battles aren't going to benefit them. Well, that's it for now. Keep on agreeing with Christ and be at peace.